she almost didn't give him anything that day. It was a rainy evening, the kind where the sky feels heavy and the streets shine like broken mirrors. She was walking fast, hugging her thin sweater around herself, already counting the coins in her pocket because she still had to buy bread on the way home. She was tired, her shoes were worn out, and her heart felt heavier than her bag. Then she saw him. He was sitting near the closed shutters of an old shop, soaked, shivering, and barely lifting his head. His beard was messy, his clothes were torn, and his hands were shaking as he held out an empty paper cup. People passed him like he was part of the pavement. No one slowed down. No one looked him in the eye. She did. And in that moment, her life quietly changed forever. Before this story continues, take a second to like this video and subscribe to Kindly Tube, because what you're about to hear might remind you that one small act of kindness can completely rewrite your destiny. Her name was Ariba. She was 22, living in a small rented room, working at a local tailoring shop where she stitched clothes for long hours and earned just enough to survive. Her father had passed away when she was a teenager, and her mother's health had slowly faded since then. Life had taught Ariba to calculate every rupee, to walk carefully, and to hope quietly. That evening, she had exactly 100 rupees in her pocket. It was for bread, milk, and maybe a few vegetables. She stopped in front of the beggar. He looked up slowly, his eyes tired but gentle. "Beta," he whispered, "if you have anything, even a little." Ariba hesitated. Her mind started racing. If I give him something, what will we eat tonight? What if my mother needs medicine tomorrow? But her heart whispered louder. She reached into her pocket, pulled out all the money she had, and placed it in his cup. "All of it?" he asked, shocked. She nodded softly and smiled. "Please buy something warm. It's very cold." He stared at her like she had just done something unbelievable. His lips trembled. "One day," he said quietly, "you will be rewarded in ways you can't imagine." She didn't reply. She just walked away, thinking she might have been foolish. That night, they ate dry bread with tea. Her mother noticed her silence but said nothing. Ariba lay awake wondering if she had made a mistake. Years passed. Life remained difficult, but Ariba never lost her kindness. She worked harder, learned new stitching designs, and eventually started doing small home orders. She saved little by little and dreamed of one day working in a big clothing company. 5 years later, a miracle seemed to arrive. She saw a job advertisement for a fashion company opening a new office in the city. They were looking for designers, tailors, and supervisors. The salary was 3 times more than what she was earning. It felt impossible, but she applied anyway. On the interview day, she wore her best simple dress, carried a small folder of her designs, and walked into the tall glass building with nervous hands and hopeful eyes. The office was huge, clean, and filled with well-dressed people. She felt small but determined. She was asked to wait in the reception area. After some time, a man walked out of a private office. He was wearing an expensive suit, his hair neatly combed, his shoes shining. Everyone stood up respectfully. "That must be the boss," someone whispered. Ariba looked up casually. And froze. Her heart skipped a beat. It was him. The same eyes. The same gentle expression. Only now, they were surrounded by confidence and dignity instead of hunger and cold. He looked around the room, then his eyes landed on her. He stopped walking. For a few seconds, the world seemed to pause. Then his face slowly broke into a soft, emotional smile. "Ariba," he said quietly. She stood up slowly, trembling. You remember my name?" He walked toward her. His voice shook. "Not a single day have I forgotten you." Everyone stared in confusion. He turned to the staff. "This young woman changed my life." He then looked back at her and said, 5 years ago, I had lost everything. My business had collapsed, my family had abandoned me, and I was living on the streets. That night, I had decided it was my last day. And then you came." Tears filled Ariba's eyes. "You gave me your last money. But more than that, you gave me hope. I used that money to travel to my hometown, met an old friend, and slowly rebuilt my life. Today, this company exists because you reminded me that I still mattered. The room was silent. You came here for a job, he continued softly. But you didn't come here as an applicant. He smiled warmly. You came here as family. He turned to the HR manager. From today, Ariba is our senior supervisor. And her salary will reflect the respect she deserves. Ariba broke down in tears. She couldn't speak. She could only place her hand on her chest and whisper, "Thank you." He leaned closer and said, "No. Thank you, for saving my life." From that day on, Ariba's life changed completely. She moved her mother into a better home, paid for her treatment, and slowly built a peaceful life. But she never changed the way she treated people. She still helped whenever she could. She still believed in quiet kindness. And every year, on the same rainy day, she goes back to that street corner and leaves food and money for strangers, because she knows that sometimes, the smallest kindness can become the biggest miracle. So if you ever wonder whether your small good deeds matter, remember Ariba. They might be changing a life. And one day, they might change yours too. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Kindly Tube, because kindness always finds its way back.